As you can see by the title, it's February 8th, 2018, My Little Pony Friendship is Magic discussion live. Well, it says live in the description, but you get what I'm saying. And I just thought I'd come on here and kind of shoot the breeze, if you will, kind of just discuss a few things um, about MLP FIM, and you know, with the just checking something right there. With season 8 rapidly approaching in a few months or so, um, you know, it's, we we know that Hasbro is being very tentative when it comes to any information about it leaking. I understand that I understood that some people would say be careful. Some people like Dr. Wolf and a few others would say that you have to be careful about what you post, and apparently that's true. One of the two videos that I did recently, of course, one of them I willingly took down, and the other was blocked worldwide. One, of course, the one I took down myself, was talking about how many episodes are going to be in the season. Of course, there's going to be 26, but how many are going to be dedicated to the school itself, basically centered around the school itself, and how many were not going to be related to the school. And the fact that we got 16 episodes that are going to be non-school related in some form, if fashion, if mostly not school related, and we got 10 that will be, maybe 11, depending. Um, uh, it's kind of surprising to to see an upcoming season that's dedicated to something, or whose main focus is something that they promote in the promotional artwork, as well as now even in the toys, according to Equestria Daily, that you're only going to get 10 episodes dedicated to it and the characters, students around it. So, so it's really intriguing. But again, like I said in that original video, and I'll say here, I think what they're trying to do is keep the core of the show, the heart of the show, what it is. They're trying to keep the core of the show as it was when it first started, and it kind of improved and evolved into as the seasons went on. I mean, adding the school to the mixture is, does, is a big deal. I mean, it shows that they want to focus on the diversity of race and different cultures, and as far in the world of MLP FIM and in the Equestria world, in lands outside of Canterlot. So, it's understandable that they want to do that, as well as introduce some new characters at the same time. Um, the way I look at it is, I think it's a good idea. The way I look at it is, I'm totally fine with it, and I'm sure a lot of people will be, because I think one of the main concerns a lot of people had was, okay, you're introducing this school of friendship, as it's being advertised, that Twilight is opening, and you're kind of fearful that a majority of the season is going to be spent there, but that's not going to be the case. So that's good to know. The other video that I had up there that got blocked by Hasbro was the one where I talked about an episode that takes place in the season. In fact, It's one of the according to the episode list that leaked, it's one of the last episodes of the season. And I don't know, and here's the thing, I don't know if maybe because here's what's funny, guys. I don't know if it's me, but I almost have like a sixth sense about things. It's like I can almost guess what's going to happen even before it happens. You know, when Archie Comics published the Sonic the Hedgehog comic books, and Ian Flynn was on board, I had become a member of his Bumble King forum. Ian Flynn was a head writer who used to be like us, used to be in our status quo as a fan. In fact, one of his most notable works is a web comic called Other M, which takes place in an alternate universe, dark, gritty, almost Sin City like, almost a Sin City apocalyptic like uh, universe featuring Sonic and the Sonic characters of SatAM and of Archie Comics and the games. So Ian had created that webcomic, and when he was hired on to be the head writer, basically he was kind of like a ghost editor, ghost writer before that. But when he finally became the head writer, a lot of us in the Sonic fan base were happy that one of our own that had been a fan himself was now working on the book. So naturally, we had heard naturally I had heard he had a message board, and I became part of that. But what happened after a while, I kind of you know I don't know what happened. Whether it was my fault, maybe I posted one too many things that I shouldn't have. But suddenly, I went from being a member to being banned. Now I temporarily got back on the boards after kind of finding a way around it, like with the new Wi-Fi router and routing number and stuff like that. But still, that wasn't enough. But still, I ended up getting banned again. And again, I don't know if it's because I posted videos, links to videos and stuff like that where I was discussing things. Maybe that's what it was. But here's what's even more funnier than that. I would, anytime there was an upcoming issue happening, and you would get the synopsis of it, or Ian Flynn or anybody connected to him would discuss what events were going to be coming up in certain issues on the message boards or any other Sonic related websites with message boards. I would look at these, and again, it's almost like a sixth sense with me, but I would almost pretty much figure out exactly what was going to happen before that issue came out. And there have been several times, and this is the honest truth, that when that issue would arrive, that what happens in the issue is almost close to what I predicted. In fact, I had some people at several of the message boards at one time kind of say that I was right on the money about certain things. And I don't know if maybe that's because Ian's writing was too predictable. I can't really say. Um, but yeah, I I don't know if maybe it was because I was able to predict, like I said, if Ian's writing was too predictable, and I was just able to be fortunate enough to guess what was going to happen or what direction they were going to go in. I don't know if that was the reasoning why he had banned me from his message board and pretty much banned me from his Twitter page. I I don't know. I mean, it's not that. Here's the thing: it's not that I didn't mean any harm. I'm just pretty much looking at what direction they were going in with certain issues and stories, and I'm like, well, I know where this is going, or I could pretty much guess where that's going, or how that's going to end. So, and again, maybe it's because I was a longtime fan of Sonic. I was a fan of his, since the game came out. I've been a fan ever since the Saturday AM cartoon came out. So I pretty much kind of knew, kind of guessed in a way of what direction certain things would go, if not kind of be almost right on. or spot on about it. And I don't know, maybe that's what happened here because um, in that video I did, when I talked about one of those last episodes of season 8, I wasn't I wasn't spoiling anything because obviously that was one of the episodes that had not been fully completed, either or leaked online, thank God. But I had basically gone on there and discussed what I felt would probably happen and why I felt this wasn't going to happen because you built to this and da da da. Basically giving my point of view, my point of view, giving my opinion, basically giving my opinion and my point of view of how I pretty much could see how, where this may go and how it might go and why this may happen and why it may not happen. But it's not because, I decided, hey, I want to just spill the beans on this episode because again, it's an episode that wasn't even it's not even fully animated yet. It's just an episode that, thank the Lord, was fortunate enough not to be one of them that ended up being leaked. You know, while it was still being a work in progress, animation or animatronics wise, or storyboard wise, or audio wise, or whatever. So, so thank God for that. Um, Again, like I said, thank God for that. But I'm trying to think here. But it seemed that after I uploaded that video, and again, I didn't mean no harm. Maybe I should have put a disclaimer or something. That was my fault. But I didn't mean any harm by it. But almost immediately, I started getting a lot of views. Probably the most I've ever gotten on a video since I talked about the whole net neutrality deal, or I talked about the whole Starlight Glimmer deal. It was the most I'd ever gotten. And I was basically halfway to 1,000, if not, I'm guessing on average 480 videos, not videos, but 480 views away from 1,000 within the span of 48 hours when my video, which I didn't mean no harm by, was blocked worldwide. And it was blocked by Hasbro. And I don't know if it's because of the screenshot I used or if it's what I was discussing. I don't know. I don't know if that could have been it or not. I can't really say. But I can say that again, I didn't mean any harm by it. I really didn't. All I was doing was basically giving my opinion on how I felt it may go. You know where how basically how I felt it might go and where it may go and why certain things may or may not happen. But yeah, basically 48 hours in and my video was blocked worldwide. Again, I could not really understand, but then again, maybe I could understand because, if you're in charge of something, if you work hard on something and you already know that pretty much 10 to 13 episodes that was still kind of works in progress, that were kind of still unfinished, had been leaked online, and a majority of the fan base had seen them already or had kind of seen screenshots or images from them already. You you don't want to have anything else be leaked or shown. You don't want that. And again, I don't blame, you know, anybody for feeling that way. I really don't. Um, again, I can understand, Hasbro's reasoning for it, but again, I didn't really mean any harm. I was just discussing what I felt could happen and what may happen. And again, it was, and here's the thing. this was all started. The reason I did that video is because at the MLP forums, someone had just started a topic on the whole thing about the episode. And that's what got me deciding, hey, maybe I should chime in, put my 2 cents in, just like I did in a response to that topic on the MLP forums. I decided, why not I just, put my 2 cents in and see what happens and do it with a video. And the video wasn't even that long. The video was like, what, 14 minutes, 25 seconds? You know, not even that long. But apparently, either it's because of the screen grab I used, or perhaps it was the fact that I maybe, and this is my opinion, I might have pretty much guessed what was going to happen from just by discussing it. I don't really know because it's something that I've talked about MLP a lot. There's a lot of people at the Rift Cafe that have talked about MLP a lot. There's a lot of people here on YouTube that have talked about MLP a lot, and they've used screen grabs, screenshots, images, whatever. And yeah, and yeah, Hasbro and DHX will allow will allow the videos to remain up, but only because they're the ones that are going to monetize and make money off it. That's fine, I guess. That's the property. Just be glad they're letting us still use it or still have the videos up. So for them to take a whole discussion video down about something in an upcoming season where somebody like me is just giving their opinions on the issue, it kind of gives me the thought process that it gives me that same thought process and feeling that I had when Ian Flynn would block me from his message boards. And again, it wasn't because maybe I did certain things I shouldn't have, like post links, post videos, whatever. It's almost like the reason my video was blocked worldwide is I pretty much kind of gave away what the story was going to be, or pretty much kind of guessed, almost point by point of what the story was going to be about. Again, that's just an opinion. Again, that's just my opinion on why I think it would have happened, because all I did was just give my opinion on the subject. That's it. So, but here's the good news. I did save those to my external hard drive. What that means is whenever the time comes around, whether it's here on YouTube, whether it's on Daily Motion, maybe even take a shot with Twitch, I will upload those videos again so that way people can see them. So, yeah, it's like again, it was only a 14-minute, 25-second video discussing a scene in an opinionated way of what could be happening with that episode. Maybe it's also because I put the episode's title in the episode's title in the title section of my video, so that might have not helped it either. But then again, you've had a lot of season 8 episodes, the ones that were leaked, appear here on YouTube. So I guess Hasbro is finally deciding to crack down a little bit because, season 8 is officially going to be coming around the spring, and they don't want any more leaked out than already is. So, again, I can't blame them for that. It is disappointing, but I can look back at the fact and say, hey, it may have been blocked worldwide, but look at all the views I got on that one video in just a span of 48 hours. It's amazing. It's amazing. Now, one other thing I do want to talk now. Now now that that's out of the sorry, my thing hit the filter there. Now that that's out of the way, let's talk about something else. Let's talk about the upcoming Equestria Girls special, Forgotten Friendship. Now, this special is based on a book that came out last year. It came out last year, um, around December, between October and December, and apparently the special was already in the works. The 1 hour special based on it was already in the works, and pretty much the book I think gave away a lot of what's going to happen in the show or in the special because DHX, not DHX, but Discovery has been released. DHX and Discovery and Hasbro has been releasing clips after clips after clips over the past several weeks of what to expect in the special. And if the special, like we said, is based or loosely based and adapted, you know, it's loosely adapted. Um, like I say, it's loosely adapted from the A Friendship to Remember book. Then again, there's going to be a moment in there, and I discussed this a little bit, and when I brought this up in a reply at the MLP forums, there's going to be a moment in Forgotten Friendship that people have been waiting for a long time. Fans, bronies, Pegasisters, the whole MLP community has been waiting for. And it is, I will say this, um, it is kind of disappointing. Now remember, this is my opinion. Um, it is kind of disappointing that it's not happening on the Friendship as Magic side of MLP, but still, it's kind of good to see it happening, even if it's on the Equestria Girl side. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, she's got to go. Well, now I know what you're thinking. For some of you that may have read the book that this is based on, you've seen the clips. You're thinking, well, it's happening on well, it is going to be happening on the friendship side of things. This is just mainly an Equestria Girl special, and that's true. It is. It is. But is what I'm talking about is I'm kind of disappointed this doesn't happen in an actual Friendship is Magic special, not a spin-off Equestria Girl, not a special based off its Equestria Girl spin-off, but taking place in the actual Friendship is Magic show. That's why I find kind of disappointing. But like I said, even if it is a little bit disappointing, even though it is kind of disappointing, it is kind of still nice to see this finally happen. Because when Equestria Girl first started, when did that first start? 2013. 2013, if you will. When that started, basically about what, 4.5, 5 years ago? Let me see. When did it start? Yeah, almost 4.5 years ago. It's going to be 5 this June, but about 4.5 years ago when it started, the one thing a lot of fans that were waiting to see happen after the first movie and after we got Rainbow Rocks, which really did a good job in redeeming Sunset Shimmer, was we always wanted was fans always wanted to see her reunite with Celestia. You've had fans use fan fiction at FIM Fiction website. You've had fans at DeviantArt and some of the websites and message boards showcase fan videos and animations and art of it happening. Even Silver Quill did a video where he ended it with him taking Sunset back to reconcile with Celestia. So for this moment to finally happen, even like I said, if it's on the Equestria side of things, although it does take place in the Friendship is Magic world of Equestria, it's still good to finally see because it's a moment fans have been wanting to see for a long time. For almost 5 years, they've been waiting to see this. And now they're going to finally get it. But but when I look at Forgotten Friendship, which is based off Friendship to Remember, I look at this as being in the same kind of category as the 3 Equestria Girls shorts that came out last year during the summer. To me, it's a testing ground for Discovery Family and DHX to see how an Equestria Girls show will do on a main stage, like let's say on a bigger main stage, like let's say Discovery Family. I mean, I know I know what you're thinking. Discovery Family isn't that big, Brian. YouTube's bigger than them in some sense, and that is true. That is indeed true, but when when I look at when I look at this but when you kind of compare it to two on a more accessible basis, yeah, YouTube is more accessible, but for more, but for a more broader, more established basis, Discovery Family is kind of in that category of, even though it may not be as big of a conglomerate as YouTube, it's still more established and acknowledged by people than YouTube. And pretty much when I see something like this happening, like with last year's trio of course, your girl specials, you know, I look at those specials along with this 1 hour one coming up as testing grounds, to the point that sooner or later they're gonna wanna try to move the Equestria Girls series of shorts from YouTube to Discovery Family and make it a full-fledged series of 22-minute stories and episodes. That's what I see them doing, and Forgotten Friendship is just another step in making that happen. So, um, now I know people are gonna ask if I think it's gonna be good. I think honestly it will be. It's actually gonna be something that I believe a lot of people are going to, I think a lot of fans in the next 9 days are going to really enjoy this. They're going to, I mean, here's what I look at. Not a, here's what I look at it. Not a lot of people are fans of Equestria Girls. They don't like the spinoff. They feel that all it is just Hasbro's way to cash in on the whole Monster High Ever After deal that's been a success. As for those from Mattel and Ellen and such, so that's one of the reasons some people still don't like Equestria Girls, because it's mainly Hasbro trying to cash in on those other franchises' successes. But this right here to me is probably going to be the one special that's going to bring the Friendship is Magic fans that are mostly pro Friendship is Magic over to at least check this out, because it's going to have a moment, like I said, that fans have been waiting to see for a long, long time. You can't tell me that Thespio and his fiance Midnight are not looking forward to this moment, because they pretty much gave an example of that when they did Analysis Brony Reacts video to the season 6 finale. So it's going to be quite interesting to see the viewership, at the amount of viewers that are going to tune in at the end of this, and how many reaction videos and reviews we're going to get, even from those that are not particularly fond of Equestria Girls. So we'll have to wait and see. All right. The other thing I want to talk about is something that I've always kind of supported. And recently, people have been replying to my topic on it at the MLP forums, and that is the whole spike in rarity deal, or Sparity. Now, I know with recent events that have happened that pretty much something like this is almost kind of taboo. But you got to look at it this way: spike and rarity are fictional. What Toon Critic did is not. There's a difference. There's a major difference. And remember, it's not our decision to have spike and rarity kind of flirt off, play off each other, flirt off each other at times when they choose to in the show. It's the writers. It's Megan McCarthy. It's Lauren Faust. it's Nicole Dubach, it's Jason Teresa, and it's M.A. Larson. You know, it's their decision, not ours. So we got to remember that. Now, with that said, though, with that said, though, I I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm going to be honest. I mean, I understand not a lot of people are fans of that pairing. I get that. You know, not a lot of fans are particularly fond of how it's portrayed at times. But when I look at Spike and Rarity's relationship, you can argue and debate whether or not Rarity is just stringing Spike along because after Secret of My Excess, she pretty much knows how he feels about her, and in a sense, she's probably reciprocated and returned those feelings to Spike as well, in her own unique way. But there's a question I asked Vega, a pop team Vega loves, the host of Idols of Anime. There's a question that I asked her in a letter in a package that I sent to her and Lankara for an upcoming PO unboxing video. What I asked is if nobody basically the gist of it that I asked was if nobody in the fandom believes that this is going to happen between Spike and Rarity, if we're not going to get some kind of solution or resolution to it, well, maybe not in that context. Well, maybe I didn't ask her in this kind of context, but still, if we're not going to get any kind of, if they feel we're not going to get any kind of resolution or context, any kind of resolution to this matter, then why keep teasing it? Why keep teasing it time after time? You know, you know, why constantly tease it? Why, keep hinting at it for the past, what is it, 5 seasons, 6 seasons, 7 seasons, if you will? Why keep doing that if you're not going to do anything with it? You know, if it's not going to happen, like a lot of the fans say, then why keep teasing it? And I look at the fact that Spike having the crush and affection for Rarity that he does, maybe not as prominent as it used to be, but still being there, is, I would guess, the writer's way of saying that. I guess I'm trying to say that it looks to me like a metaphor by the writers by saying, "Hey, here's something that Spike wants to achieve. Here's a goal. Here's a lifelong goal that Spike wants to achieve, but yet he always has these obstacles get put in his way." To me, it's like Spike's goal in the show, because all the characters seem to have goals that they have and will achieve. You know, Rarity has achieved her boutique goal. Rainbow Dash has achieved being a Wonderbolt. Fluttershy's got an animal sanctuary. Pinky, I don't know what's going on with her yet. That still has to be addressed. And Applejack's the same way. We don't know what their end goals are at the end of it, but when they happen, we will know it. The point is the point is to me, Rarity is like that goal is Spike's goal. Like, in a sense, like in a way, it's kind of subtly hinted at when the writers choose to do so, that soon Spike is going to achieve his goal of getting of becoming Rarity's significant other, being Rarity's love interest, being her boyfriend, if you will. It's like at times over the past seven seasons, when they choose to do so, they tease at that being the goal for Spike, to be the Prince Charming and that Rarity longs for, and yet doesn't realize is right there in front of her face, or has been, or doesn't realize has always been there, has always been there, right? Has always. What I'm trying to say, let me correct my wording. Basically, that Spike is the Prince Charming she's always wanted, but never realized was always right smack dab in front of her face the whole time. And I think, in my opinion, that's sort of that when they choose to do so, it's sort of hinted at that's what it is. That Spike is that Prince Charming Rarity's looking for, yet she doesn't realize that he's always been there the whole time for her in the former Spike. So, I still back it. I still support it. But like I mentioned, I understand how some people might feel about it. But the one other thing I've talked about is we don't know how old Spike really is. There's a few moments from what people have discussed and have seen with the leaks that have happened that help evolve Spike's character physically, character from a character development way, a physically if not mentally. So to me, it to me, from what I understand, going into season 8, they're still kind of teasing it. They're still hinting at it. I mean, again, I don't want to give much away. I don't want to give much away at all, but it's like, why do you have a certain episode upcoming in season 8 that pretty much has Rarity as one of the main characters of that story alongside Spike? I mean, is it just me, or is it every time there's a Spike centric episode, the writers have to include Rarity in it as another supporting, if not another co main character there? They don't have to do it if this whole Spike Rarity deal isn't going to go anywhere. But you know why they add her? Because it's pretty much, in my opinion, their way of teasing the fact that there is something there between the two, and that Rarity is that main goal that Spike longs and yearns to obtain in the end. Just like Rarity longed and yearned to obtain her boutiques, which she did, just like Rainbow Dash longed and yearned to be a Wonderbolt, which she did, you know. Same with Fluttershy, longed and yearned to open her own animal sanctuary, which she did. The list goes on. So to me, it's almost like, it's almost like if you're not going to make it happen, then why constantly have her involved in Spike centered stories? Doesn't make sense, guys. It doesn't. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't, because if it made any sense, they would have done something by now, or at least done something, at least done something that pretty much, um, you know, pretty much calms the seas, if you will, kind of calms the quarrels, if you will, of the fan base. Because it's like Josh Scorcher demonstrated in his review of Shadowplay. In the flashback in part 2, we see that yes, indeed, Equestria Girls is pretty much confirmed to be canon and continuity connected to Friendship is Magic. Josh Scorcher basically said, kind of used as an example and a parody, kind of said that on one side you have fans happy about seeing this be finally addressed, and others that were not happy of it being addressed, and thus connecting a show that they pretty much don't like I can feel it's not necessary to the main show. And it's kind of like what I look at with Spike and Rarity. You know, if they ever decide, hey, let's do something that at least acknowledges that there's something between Rarity and Spike more than just friendship, it's going to be the same reaction. You're going to have fans happy about the fact that finally you're putting those two together in some shape, form, or fashion. But on the other hand, you got others that will not like it, and that's fine. And again, I can understand that with recent moments that have had with recent actions that have happened over the past week in the community that have kind of thrown a little bit of a dark cloud over it. I can understand how people would be kind of, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Unnerving to talk about something like this, to talk about a pairing like this. But let me ask you this again: if despite what the writers say, the creative staff on MLP says, if there's not, if there is nothing between Spike and Rarity, if there's nothing between them but just friendship, and there's nothing more, then in the movie, after after Dash, Pinky, Apple, and Fluttershy said hello to Twilight, why was Rarity the only one that said hello to Spike? And Spike was like, "Hi, Rarity," kind of blushing. And then also later on, why did he get a little jealous when Rarity was becoming smitten or charmed by Capper? Because whether or not they want to come out and admit it, there is something there between. They are pretty much hinting that there is something between Spike and Rarity. But the way it's being done is it's being done in a very subtle way that they know that eventually, should they ever decide to pull the trigger and find a way to put them together, that put them together as an item, as a couple, what have you, that won't probably shake the fandom that much. Um, until they decide to do that, the best way is just to hint at it, hint at something there, at something being there between Spike and Rarity that's more than friendship, but not pushing the envelope just yet or pulling the trigger. So my only here's my thing. Here's my thing. I wonder how Josh Scorcher, aka Firebrand's, going to address that when he does his review of the movie when that's released on the 1st of March. How is he going to address that moment of Rarity saying hi to Spike and then Spike's jealousy? I'm just saying. Because, if he does watch this, I think, Josh, you should inevitably, either as yourself on camera or as your OC Firebrand, you should do a video talking about the whole Spike and Rarity deal because you are one of those people that feel it just doesn't seem right. I'm just saying. Voice of reason, which voice I do applaud you and your girlfriend for doing the video that you did on the whole Toon Critic situation. So I applaud you guys on that. You have nothing but respect for me on that. Um, but like I was saying, I know, Josh, you are one of those that's not too fond of a whole Spike Rarity deal being acknowledged or hinted at or teased or whatever throughout the show's run. But yet one of your fellow co-reviewers in Voice, one of his earlier reviews that I saw him do with Buck Reviewer, he kind of acknowledged Rarity as being, Spike's possible girlfriend. So again, it's totally up to what Hasbro, and DHX Media, and the writing staff behind the scenes want to do. I mean, the closer we get to the end of the series, which seemingly is in another 2 years, this season and then the following season, it's going to be up to them whether or not they finally address this. So, we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, again, I support Spike and Rarity. I think it's cute, and I think it's adorable. And I think they could be, and I think honestly that they could be put together as an item if done correctly, appropriately, and carefully. So, we'll just have to wait and see what they decide to do. Um, one last thing I want to discuss: the fan series. And I'm not talking fan series comics. I'm talking about the fan series figures. Now we have a lot of fan series figures that have come out. Recently, we've had Twilight Sparkle, and Tempest Shadow. Before that, we had the Storm King. Around that time, we've had DJ Pone, I believe, Vinyl Scratch, if you will. Of course, we've had Discord. We have had Celestia. We have had Luna. We have had Crystallis. But now we'll get in another one. And this one is probably the most talked about already. It involves Starlight and Trixie on a rocket, and that's about it. I'm pretty sure you've seen it make rounds. But yeah, Starlight is finally, along with Trixie, getting her own fan series figurine in May of this year. I think it's May of this year. And it's going for $20. So you can definitely be sure that I'll be getting one. But honestly, I think it's about time that she did get one, even if it's paired with Trixie on a rocket. I think it's about time, and I will give the same positive reaction and praise that everybody else has. It's the way this figure is done is very good. The way they've molded it, put it together, is one of the best show accurate representation of characters in sort of an action scene or what have you that has been done as far as the fan series or even the Funko series goes. So I'm happy to see them. I'm happy to see finally Starlight, who many fans have had an opinion of, finally getting an opportunity as a fan series collectible figure, even if it is with Trixie. you know, two of the most mischiefy, popular characters out of MLPFIM together in one fan series figures. That's pretty good. That's pretty cool. But honestly, I think as time goes on, when it comes to the fan series, and you got the show coming to an end very soon, within the next year or two or whatever, I think honestly, Hasbro should consider doing a fan series, a fan series of all main 7, 8 characters, whatever you want to call them, individually as collectible figures, just like they did with Celestia and Luna, aka Nightmare Moon. They should do the same thing with Twilight, Rainbow Dash, Applejack, Rarity, Fluttershy, Pinkie Pie, Starlight, and Sunset, not together but on their own. And I guarantee you that if they do that, people will buy those individual fan series figures of the main 6, 7, main 8, whatever you want to call them, up like there's no tomorrow. They will buy them up like there's no tomorrow if Hasbro decides to do individual fan series collectible figurines of the main 6, 7, 8, whatever you want to call it. I think it would be a good idea for them to do. And as far as, if they do a Sunset Shimmer character, here's the thing: do not do Sunset Shimmer as her iconic human counterpart. Do her as the pony version of herself that fans love probably more than the human counterpart. So I think honestly, as far as future fan series projects go, that's what Hasbro should do. do individual fan series collectible figures of the main 7, 8, if you will, on their own, if you will, on their own, just like I said, they did with Celestia and Nightmare Moon, aka Luna. I think fans will like them. I think fans will get a kick out of them. And hey, maybe there'll be a step above. Maybe they'll give the established Funko figures a run for their money. So that's just my opinion on that. I think honestly that if the series is going to come to an end, I think that's one way Hasbro can celebrate the success that the series has had for almost a decade, and celebrate the pop culture phenomenon that it's become in that time frame. So, but anyway, that's really all I want to say and discuss as far as My Little Pony Friendship is Magic is concerned. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you all for watching live. I really appreciate it. Thank you all for watching post live, and thank you, I should say, for watching post live after it's been uploaded. Let me know what you all think down below. Again, thank you all for watching live. I really appreciate it, and I will talk to y'all later. God bless. Take care. I am out.